myself, what is the most important part of any copy? The answer is very simple. It's the headlines. The first thing looked at in any VSL, email, sales page, you name it. The headline will be there and it will always be the most important part of copy. And that's what I'm going to show today. How to create a headline, how to reverse engineer the ones that work, and make the headlines that work better over time. So, no fluff, let's get to it. First, the main components of a headline. The headline is made of 5 components. There is keywords, power words, emotion words, uncommon words, and common words. We'll be analyzing this headline from YouTube. But why not yours, you ask? Well, if I would be honest with you, it's because I altered this VSL a lot and I don't want to alter it all at once. I just want to give you the resources as best as I can, so yeah. In this headline, I have 1 keyword, 2 power words, 1 emotion word, 2 uncommon words, and 0 common words. The keyword in my headline is headline. Keywords are exactly what the user is searching for. It's very simple, everybody knows them. If you are searching for headlines, you expect to see headlines in the title, and that's why it is so important. They are essential for search engine optimization. Then we have the power words. The power words are also very heavily searched like keywords. They are just not evident as keywords. For example, how to is on this headline example, and it is a power word. Why? Because it's heavily searched. When you want to know something, you always ask how to when it's a question. How to make cookies, how to make the best videos. Then we have emotion words. There is 1 in my headline, and that is the best. Now, according to analysis, positive extreme emotions tend to get more clicks in search engines, and that's why these were made. The best in the headline I provided has a positive extreme sentiment, and that's why it is used. Also notice that it is in caps, representing contrast. This makes sure we can read them. Then there's common and uncommon words. Well, these ones are very simple to explain. You know how in a game you have common items and uncommon items, and uncommon items are better than common items? Yeah, actually same thing here. In other words, always choose uncommon words instead of common words. Now let's understand other fundamentals. Let's start by the most important one, and that is going personal. One of the best things you can do is making a person feel unique. That creates a connection and a positive emotion, which is both good things when you're trying to sell the click, that is, say. A very simple example of this is using their favorite word, that is, their name. For example, it can only be done in certain places, like an email list, but how to fix your career up is an example. But there are ways to go personal, like pointing their pain points. It's a valid way to do it. You can also go to less used areas like their wants, their goals, but in my recommendation, stick with pain points, it's better. Now, why am I looking at this? We can also use cookies. The options are actually limitless when it comes to going personal. Then we have being relatable. Being relatable is like going personal, but you target them and you don't actually say anything specific about them, like their name. No, you tell your situation, and your situation reflects back to them, or you tell their situation is true, something like that. For example, let's say your target audience knows you are thinking on something. Then you need to say in your title, name, you need to stop thinking. In this case, I could say the name was Alan, so Alan, you need to stop thinking. Now, we are putting personal here, and we're putting relatable here. We'll go into further examples as we go on. And now, how powerful is this? I'll explain this with an analogy. You know when you go to the doctor and he describes exactly your situation? Yeah, you gain full trust on him. And that relatability was what allowed you to trust in him. That's why it is important. Then we have using call to actions. Now, call to actions are something you can only use when your leads are warmed up. They allow you to guide the user. Why do you need to guide the user? It's actually very simple. You see, one of the rules of copywriting is to never let your customer think. And that is exactly what you are doing. Guiding them to the whole process will make sure they never think and purchase. That's perfect. This one is a bit more subtle, but it's still a good. This one is a bit more subtle, but still it's a good item. Using numbers. Now I'll explain this with an example. Now as you can see, if I go here to my inbox, I have more letters than numbers. For example, this one has letters, this one has letters, this one has letters, and only of these four, one has numbers and it's only a few bits. The thing I want you to take into account is emojis. Now if your brand voice allows it, that is a comedic brand voice for example, that uses emojis, you can use them. For example, emojis are more rare than the numbers, and they are even more vibrant. They use colors that are never used on email, like green and yellow, so they are very useful as well, but only if your brand voice allows it. According to human psychology, we focus more on the rare than on the ordinary, and that's good because we got here one that is rare and letters that are ordinary. If you use one, the number, instead of one, the word, well, you will gain overall advantage. This one is also a small one, but it's very good. Being confident. Being confident is usually a smart move. It makes your brand look professional. Okay, then here's the one I use in my headline. Self-sacrifice. Okay, so self-sacrifice is actually very good. Very good. Many YouTubers like MrBeast use it. For example, let's look at my headline again. I spent 2 months learning everything about copywriting, and here's what I've learned. 2 months is the self-sacrifice. Now I want you to take this into account. To make a self-sacrifice effective, you need to sacrifice the thing the freelancers value most. In case freelancers value their time. I mean, freelancers for me, that is. For you, it can be, I don't know, it depends on your client. For example, fitness coaches, fitness person. So what would be more important to them? Probably their muscle. So if you said something like, I gained weight to prove you all wrong. This is a very curious example, but it's not very good still. Now, you know how to create good headlines in certain environments, but when exploring a new environment, this might not work. So what do? Well, you reverse engineer the ones that do. So let's use an example for this. My video, for example, has a headline that was taken from MrBeast, one of the most, if not the most, viewed YouTuber in history. So what did I do? First, I took MrBeast's video samples, and then I took video samples that were not good. In other words, videos that only had around 1,000, and MrBeast had 1 million. I'll take the ones at 1,000 and the ones at 1 million, and then I would see what he was doing wrong and what he was doing right, and I would know that. If some of his videos have self-sacrifice and others don't, and the ones that have self-sacrifice are better, I'll know that. Self-sacrifice on headlines is good, I'll know that. Then what do? I use those notes and then use them on the headline. Now yes, it takes time. For me it took a month because I invented the model. For you, maybe 10 days. But after this, you can make headlines on this platform at ease. So, yeah. But here's a thing that you need to take into account. When you are doing emails or maybe sales pages, but most importantly sales pages, you want to do A/B testing. You see, A/B testing is to keep your headlines sharp, and on something that brings you enormous leverage, like sales pages, it's very important. Now, why is it important? It's actually very simple. Imagine you have one good headline and one bad headline. The good headline attracts a lot of users, and the bad headline attracts a short amount of users. So let's say in either of the sales pages, 50% buy. So the one that attracts more users will make more sales than the one that attracts less users. And that's why A/B testing is important, because we are always sharpening the headline and making it better over time, which means we, a long time, get more and more users per month. What matters is A/B testing is very important. So how does it work? Well, you split your audience into two groups, Group A and Group B, and you give them headline A and headline B. Very simple, right? They usually are very different because that's the most effective A/B testing, but sometimes you want to test keywords and kind of stuff, so you can also just make very slight alterations. Well, I guess it all depends on your state. No, not that state. Now, what is the usual time for A/B testing? It all depends on your audience actually. If you have a big audience, 1 week. If you have a small audience, probably 1 month. That is, small audience 1,000 people, 1 month. A big audience, let's say 10,000 people, 1 week. This will keep them sharp. Now, of course, as a business owner, this can lead to a scalability problem because you have more and more sales pages, and then you have to update more sales pages. So what do? You update the ones that bring you more leverage first, and then go to the ones that bring you less leverage last. And that's it. You've now learned to do A/B testing. Let's just summarize this a bit. So, first, you've learned the principles of a headline. Use keywords, power words, emotion words, and common words. Then, you learn other fundamentals, going personal, being relatable, using call to actions, using numbers, being confident, using your brand voice, and self-sacrifice. And then, you learn to reverse engineer headlines that worked. And lastly, you learn A/B testing. So what now? You remember that promise I did where I was on the show surprise? Yeah, that's now. You see, I have quite a quick pace, as you can see, and that's because I said no fluff. I'm not even kidding. Now, if you think this was too slow for you, I get it. I'll try to be faster. Just kidding. But seriously, if this was too fast for you, I actually have a book version of this. You can go to the description and grab it there. My social media is also there, so make sure to check it out, though it's not completed yet. I don't have much videos there. If you want more content like this, subscribe. If you like this video, well, like the video. If you have any doubts, leave a comment. It's very important. I will try to answer them all. After this, I'll have to study for the exam I have in 2 days. I think it's Thursday. It's Thursday. Yeah, it's Thursday. No, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Oh my god, it's Tuesday. Well, I guess that's it for now. Bye.